verse number 20. Sorry, 30. We discussed till verse number 30. Yeah. So Arjun is really undergoing Vishad. Arjun is really undergoing Vishada in terms of getting bewildered after telling Krishna to bring his chariot between two armies. Arjun is now getting bewildered. So Arjun observed the armies and then Arjun starts giving reasons why not to fight. So first reason was compassion. Okay, so please recite 31st verse.
Mayapur Vihari Prabhu, can you begin? Hare Krishna. Okay. Mayuresh Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, bro. Which was I have to read?
Yes. 31st verse.
Okay. Just 1 minute, please. Shreyanupashami
Nacha
Shreyo
Shreyo
Anupashmi
Atva Sojanamaha Have
Hatva Swajanamahave
Na Kangshe Vijayam Krishna
Nakangshe Vijayam Krishna
Na Sa Rajayam Sukha Nicha.
Rajayam Sukhani cha.
Translation. I do not see how any good can come from killing my own kinsman in this battle, nor can I, my dear Krishna, desire any subsequent victory, kingdom, or happiness.
Yeah, so this 31st to 35th verse, Arjun is giving second reason for not fighting, that is forcing no enjoyment in victory. So Nacha Shreyo Anupashyami, I do not see any good can come. Hitva Swajanam Ahave, from killing my own kinsmen in this battle. And na Kangshe, that's why no Kangshe Vijayam Krishna. Nor can I, my dear Krishna, desire any victory. Nacha Rajyam Sukhani cha, kingdom or happiness. So he's telling that he has no uh, no interest in kingdom and all such things. So Prabhupada is continuing the same theme from yesterday. Yesterday where we ended, we see that Prabhupada says in purport that people don't know what is one's real self-interest. Real self-interest lies in serving Lord Vishnu. So Prabhupada is continuing the same theme in the purport now, that without knowing that one's self-interest is in Vishnu or Krishna, the conditioned souls are attracted by bodily relationships, hoping to be happy in such situations. So you can read Mayuresh Pro little purport. We'll discuss purport little by little.
Yes, project. So should I read ahead project?
Yeah.
Okay. Purport. Without knowing that one's self-interest is in Vishnu or Krishna, conditioned souls are attracted by bodily relationship, hoping to be happy in such situation. In such a blind conception of life, they forgot even the cause of material happiness. Arjun appeared to have even forgotten the moral codes of Kshatriya. It is said that two kind of men, namely the Kshatriya who dies directly in front of battlefield under Krishna's personal order, and the person in the renounced order of life, who is absolutely devoted to spiritual culture, are eligible to enter into the sun globe, which is so powerful and dazzling. Arjuna is reluctant even to kill his enemies, let alone his relative. He thinks that by killing his kinsman there would be no happiness in his life, and therefore he is not willing to fight. Just as a person who does not feel hunger is not inclined to cook, he has now decided to go into forest and live a secluded life in frustration. But as a Kshatriya, he requires a kingdom for his subsistence, because the Kshatriyas cannot engage themselves in any other occupation. But Arjuna has no kingdom. Arjuna's sole opportunity for gaining a kingdom lies in fighting with his cousins and brothers and reclaiming the kingdom inherited from his father, which he does not like to do. Therefore, he considers himself fit to go to the forest to live a secluded life of frustration.
Yeah. So here we see that Arjun is even forgetting his duty as a Kshatriya. So when he is talking about enjoyment, he is telling that even dying on the battlefield, fighting for a Dharma Yuddha, there is higher enjoyment. Why? Because such a person can go to sun globe. Hmm. Basically, is elevated to heavenly planets. But out of whatever reason, weakness, or compassion, Arjun is now not even wanting to kill other enemies also. What to speak of his relatives? Hmm. So he feels that I don't want only anything. So there is kind of tyaga bhavana is coming in Arjun, that I want to just give up everything and go to forest. But as Prabhupada writes in the purport that Arjun cannot go to forest because he's a Kshatriya by nature. So he needs some kingdom to rule. As of now, he has no kingdom. It is not that the situation is not that he has some kingdom and he wants some more kingdom. Then it is fine if he also doesn't choose to fight. But now he has no kingdom. So he cannot. So he's thinking that okay, I have no kingdom and I don't want to fight also. So let me go to battle. Let me go to forest. Hmm, and live a life of frustration. But this is not going to make him peaceful. Hmm. So, Srila Vishwanath Thakur, he explains Arjun's thinking like, I will win the battle, but I will suffer greatly. Those I kill will be elevated to sun planet, but no good reaction will come to me. And in this way, Arjun is feeling very much distressed. Hmm. And he is feeling that uh, even if I win the battle, there is no use of living like that. Hmm. Okay, so next set of verses, next devotee can recite 32 to 35.
Mayapur, where you pro? Now can you recite?
Yes.
Okay.
किं न राज्येन गोविन्द
Kim no
किं नो
rajena,
रज गोविन्द
किं भोगैर्जीवितेन वा
kim
किं
bhogai,
भोगैर्जीवितेन वा
यस्यामर्थे कांक्षितं नो
yeshamarthe
येषामर्थे
कांक्षितम्
काङ्क्षितं न
राज्यं भोगा सुखानि च
rajam
राज्यं भोगसुखानि च
तैमेव स्थिता युद्धे
तायमेव स्थिता युद्धे
प्राणमात्यक्तधनानि च
प्राणनां सत्त्वधनानि च
आचार्य पितरः पुत्राः
आचार्यः पितरः पुत्राः
तथैव च पितामहाः
तथैव च पितामहः
मातुला ससुरा पुत्रा
मातुलः श्वशुरः पुत्रः
श्याला सम्बन्धिनस्तथा
शालाः सम्बन्धिनस्तथा
एतान् हन्तुमिच्छामि
एतान् हन्तुमिच्छामि
नतोऽपि मधुसूदन
गतोऽपि मधुसूदन
अपि त्रैलोक्यराज्यस्य
अपि त्रैलोक्यराजस्य
हेतो किं नो मही कृते
हेतुः किं नो मही कृते
निहत्य धार्तराष्ट्राणाम्
निहत्य
का प्रीतिः सा जनार्दन Translation. Can I read translation?
Yes.
O Govinda, of what avail to us are a kingdom, happiness, or even life itself, when all those for whom we may desire them are now arrayed on this battlefield? O Madhusudana, when teachers, fathers, sons, grandfathers, maternal uncles, father-in-law, grandsons, brother-in-law, and other relatives are ready to give up their lives and properties and are standing before me, why should I wish to kill them even though they might otherwise kill me? O maintainer of all living entities, I am not prepared to fight with them, even in exchange for the three worlds, let alone this earth. What pleasure will be derived from killing the sons of Dhritarashtra?
Yeah. So here, Prabhupada in the purport says that Krishna is being addressed by Arjuna as Govinda. So we all know what is the meaning of Govinda. One who gives pleasure to cows, senses, earth. All that is the this thing is the meaning of Govinda. So in this particular verse, Arjuna is relating the reason why he is disinterested in kingdom and victory, that he is telling now in these 3 verses. So Arjuna is addressing Krishna as Govinda. He is saying that you are the one who gives pleasure to the senses. So you give pleasure to the senses. Now you please give me pleasure. You please give. You should understand what will please my senses. So please give pleasure to my senses. So but Prabhupada says in the purport, but Krishna, he is not meant for satisfying our senses. Certainly, when Krishna appears in front of us, it is in the deity form or in the form of personal form. When he comes, certainly he gives pleasure to the senses, no doubt. But at the same time, Krishna is the master and we are servant. So we are supposed to give pleasure to Krishna's senses. So certainly, Prabhupada says that Krishna gives pleasure to our senses as much as we deserve through our karmic reactions. But at the same time, this is not the best way to get the pleasure to the senses. The best way to gain pleasure for our senses is to engage our senses in the service of the Lord Govinda. And when we engage our senses in the service of Lord Govinda, then there will be real satisfaction of the senses. So 3 things. One thing was Krishna gives actually pleasure to our senses based on our karma on the material level. So by sanctioning the good things, sense gratification for us. So that's how he gives the senses. But it depends on our karmic account. Second point, certainly when Krishna comes in front of us in a personal form or in deity form, certainly it is very beautiful looking. Krishna is very beautiful looking, and it is very pleasurable for senses. So we see that during Arati and all, we get nice fragrance. We offer to Krishna fragrance, and we also get it. The beauty of the Lord is there, which give pleasure to eyes, and all other senses are also nicely satisfied when we actually come in touch with the Lord. So for us at sadhaka stage, we come in touch with the Lord through the method of deity. personal form of the Lord through the method of deity. But the third point which Prabhupada is emphasizing, that Krishna is not meant to give us pleasure. Actually, we are meant to give pleasure to Krishna. And this is the way to satisfy our senses. How? When we engage our senses in the service of the Lord, then what happens? Our senses actually themselves become satisfied. Hmm. So, just like when we decorate ourselves, our mirror image also gets decorated, isn't it? We put, suppose, tilak to ourselves. Hmm. Then what happens in the mirror also? Our image is there in the mirror, that also gets a tilak. Hmm. Same way, when we try to please Krishna's senses, then our senses, which are part and parcel of Krishna's senses, they also get satisfied. So we see in this world many people who are even religious people. What they go to God for? They go to God for a big list, and they go to God for with a big list, and they want that somehow God should satisfy them. Hmm. So that is what is their thing, that give me this, give me that, give me that. So basically, God should satisfy my senses. That's their motivation. Hmm. But you know, this is not the best way, because how much ever sense gratification we may receive, the senses always demand more and more and more, isn't it? So best way to satisfy the senses is to serve the Lord. So Parikshit Maharaj also, but Ambarish Maharaj is the best example, isn't it? How he engaged his different senses in uh, Lord's service. Savai mana Krishna padara vindayor vachansi vaikuntha gunanuvarnane karo harer mandira marjanadishu shrutim chakarachyuta satpathodaye मुकुन्दलिङ्गालय दर्शने दृशौ तद्भृत्यगात्र स्पर्श्यङ्ग संगमम घ्राणं च तत्पाद सरोज सौरभे श्रीमत्तुलस्या रसनां तदर्पिते. So like that it goes on, isn't it? So we see here how Ambarish Maharaj always engaged all his senses in the service of the Lord, and because of such engagement, Ambarish Maharaj was very satisfied and happy. So he's the best example. So rather than just demanding the Lord, give me this, give me that, so that my senses will be happy, satisfied, better engage our senses to satisfy Krishna's senses. So that's what Prabhupada is telling. Then ahead, Prabhupada says that Arjun's deep affection for community and family members is exhibited here partly due to his natural compassion for them. That's why he is not prepared to fight. So this we discussed yesterday also, that one reason is also he is feeling, what Prabhupada is saying, that what will satisfy my senses. Another reason is also his natural compassion, because as we discussed yesterday, that everybody wants to uh, there is a compassion certainly in Arjun for his relatives. At the same time, he wants to do also, when we possess something, we need to show off to others, then real enjoyment comes. So that also we discussed yesterday. So that's why he is declining to fight. So Prabhupada said, but these are all calculations of typical material life. Whereas a devotee concept is different. So devotee's concept is what? He always wants to satisfy the desires of the Lord. And now, to serve the Lord, if any opulences are required, devotee is ready to take any of the opulences. And if in order to serve the Lord, such opulences are not required, or if they are hindrance for his service to the Lord, then devotee will not accept even a farthing of it. So basically, devotee's acceptance and rejectance of something is not based on what will satisfy his senses, but it is based on what is required for serving the Lord. So if serving the Lord, he requires nice bungalow, yes, he will employ a big bungalow in serving the Lord. He will not be unnecessarily attached to being very austere. But if the serving the Lord, there is no need of a bungalow. If he can just be under a tree, then he is ready to be under a tree also. and he doesn't demand to be in a big bungalow. Hmm. So this is a very, very unique concept of Krishna consciousness, which even other spiritualists cannot very easily understand. Hmm. We see there are Gyanis. What is their idea? Just give up everything. Hmm. Tyagis, they are called as Tyagis, no? Gyanis, Tyagis, their idea is that, oh, this material world is a cause of suffering. So just give up, give up, give up. Hmm. We don't want to accept anything. So we know that there was a newspaper article wherein one disciple showed to Srila Prabhupada that there was one person who was offering huge amount of money to one yogi sadhu, and that sadhu was doing like this, I don't want, like that. So Prabhupada said, click my photo. Hmm. With what? Like this, I want everything. That way, click my photo. So why? Because Prabhupada doesn't want that whole money for himself, but he can engage all that money in Krishna's service. Hmm. At the same time, when there is no necessity of such a opulence, devotee is ready to live a very simple life for himself. He doesn't want this opulence for his own sense gratification. He uses all that opulence for Krishna, and for himself, he is always ready to be living with us very simple life. Hmm. So His Holiness Krishna Chaitanya Swami Maharaj, he once told that he went to the house of His Grace Ambarish Prabhu. So you all know Ambarish Prabhu, right? Ambarish Prabhu is such a rich billionaire bhakta, isn't it? Very well known, very, very much wealthy personality. But he said that when he went to his home, he saw that personally he is living a very, very simple life, isn't it? So Ambarish Prabhu is such a nice example. That's why his name is given Ambarish Prabhu, I think so, by Prabhupada, because he's emulating the good example of Ambarish Maharaj of our Bhagavatam. So he was telling that, see, he is building a palatial place for Radha Madhav in Mayapur. Hmm. At the same time, but for his own life, he is very simple, very respectful to devotees, very welcoming. So he may have bungalow for himself also. He may have a car and all these things for himself, because that's the way his lifestyle is. But at the same time, personally, he is very simple in terms of his own needs and his own dressing, his own needs of whatever requires for his own self. He is keeping himself very, very simple life. That's what Krishna Chaitanya Swami Maharaj was telling. So we can see these are all such wonderful examples, that opulence for Krishna and simplicity for oneself. This is the motto of devotee. So devotee is neither tyagi nor bhogi, but devotee wants to engage everything for Krishna's service, and for himself, he is always ready to live a simple life. Hmm. Next point, Prabhupada is saying in the purport that Arjun did not want to kill his relatives. Hmm. And he said, okay, Krishna, even if you think that, oh, these are all evil people, these are all not good people, so you kill them. Hmm. Why you are telling me to kill? Hmm. Why you are telling me to kill? So in one of the lecture, Prabhupada says that here we see one of the verses, Krishna is addressing Etanna hantum ichchami gnatopi madhusudana. Hmm. So he is telling, oh Krishna, your name is, Prabhupada was telling in one of the lectures, Krishna, your name is Madhusudana. Madhusudana means you are the killer of the demons. Hmm? Your name is not Yashoda Sudana, or your name is not Nanda Sudana. You are not the killer of your father or mother, or you are not Ugrasena Sudana. You are not killer of your own grandfather. Hmm. So why you are not killing your relatives? Why you are telling me to kill my relatives? Why you are telling me to become Bhishma Sudana? Why you are telling me to kill Drona Sudana? Like that, like that Krishna is, Arjun is telling, Prabhupada tells in one of the lecture. So if at all you feel that these are evil people, you only kill them. I don't want to kill. Like that is telling. So Prabhupada writes again ahead in the purport that Arjun doesn't understand Krishna has already killed them. So it will come in ahead that in the Vishwarup, Krishna shows that already he has killed, he has decided to kill them, and that's how their killing is sure. Only Arjun has to become an instrument. That's what Krishna wants. So Krishna's plan is surely going to be executed, whether Arjun does it or not. But Krishna wants Arjun to get the credit, and that's why he wants him to fight. Like that. Now, the last portion of the purport Prabhupada is saying that as a natural devotee, Arjun is not inclined to retaliate. So, although these people have done so much of atrocities towards Pandavas, because a devotee has no desire to retaliate for uh, even if something is done to him, as it comes in Shrimad Bhagavatam also, na? Tiraskrita vipraladha kshatta shipta hatapi nasyatat pratikurvanti. Devotees, even if they are killed, even if they are tortured, even they are murdered, even if they are insulted, even they are neglected, devotees don't have the propensity to take revenge or retaliate. So that's a natural characteristic of a devotee. So devotee of the Lord, he doesn't do any retaliation against wrongdoer. Hmm? So any examples you remember that a devotee who something wrong was done to him, but he did not retaliate?
Haridas Thakur.
Ambrish Maharaj.
Harish Maharaj.
Prahlad Maharaj.
Prahlad Maharaj.
Yes, so many examples, right? Haridas Thakur beaten in 22 marketplaces, but never retaliated. Hmm? Ambarish Maharaj, so much of wrong was done to him by Durvasa, did not retaliate. Prahlad Maharaj, he did not take also any weapons to kill his father Hiranyakashipu, right? So all such examples, Lord Jesus Christ. So all these examples are there. There is no tendency of retaliation. But Krishna does not tolerate any offense done towards devotee. Krishna may tolerate any offense done towards himself, but when the offense is done towards his devotees, Krishna cannot tolerate it, and he will surely make sure that there will be severe punishment done to a person who offends the devotees or who harms the devotees. Hmm. So that's why Prabhupada is saying, see these people, Kaurav, what not they had done. So it will come in ahead, next verse. They had done such a aggression towards Pandavas, who are all pure devotees of Krishna. And that's why Krishna was determined to kill all of them. Hmm. Like that. Prabhupada, if you see the last line of the purport, Prabhupada says this: Lord was determined to kill the miscreants, although Arjun wanted to excuse them. So Arjun was feeling that no, I am a devotee, I don't want to take revenge or something like that. Because a devotee doesn't have that tendency to take revenge. But Krishna cannot tolerate. Krishna wanted that they should be destroyed. So although Arjun was by his nature very forgiving as a Vaishnava, but Krishna, he was by his nature intolerant of offense towards his devotees. So that's what is there. Also, we see that in this verse, uh, Krishna, Arjun is addressing Krishna as Janardhan. Janardhan means maintainer of all living entities. So Arjun is saying, hey Krishna, you are Janardhan, you are maintainer of all living entities. Now you are a maintainer. Why you are wanting everybody's death in the battlefield here? You should maintain them now. Why why you are wanting their death? So like that he's telling. Also, the word Janardhan has another meaning. Jana means person, Ardhana means killer. So, Srila Baladev Vidyabhushan explains that Arjun calls Krishna Janardhan to suggest, oh Janardhan, even if they need to be killed, then you, who are the remover of earth's burden, anyways you have come to remove the burden of the earth, you only kill them. So this we discussed before also. So, and because you are apapa with them, no sinful reactions can ever touch you. So it's okay. You can kill also, and you will not be overcome by sinful reactions. But if I kill, I'll be overcome by sinful reactions. Like that. And in this way, Arjun is hoping to remain aloof from sinful reactions and is telling Krishna, you only kill them if you want to kill them. So we know that the Pandavas, of course, eventually they won the battle and took the throne. Yet they remained in power only for a few years. Isn't it? They did not rule for hundreds of years. So Arjun was thinking, okay, just because of ruling for a few years, why to create a massacre? Why to create a huge massacre of so many people just for pleasures of few years of ruling? And that to speak of why to kill our friends, gurus, grandfather, cousins, and other relatives. So in this way, Arjun's conclusion is what? Planning for enjoyment while overlooking future suffering is foolish. If we want to have enjoyment now, but it is going to give suffering in future, then it is very, very foolish. And in this way, he wants to reject fighting. So Now in the verse number 36, Arjun is continuing his reasoning. So please recite 36th verse.
Mohan Sakha bro.
Okay. Hare Krishna. Papamevashraye asman.
पापमेवाश्रयेदस्मान्
Vaitam ata itna
ताभ्यन्मता
अस्मान्नार्ह वयं हन्तुं
तस्मान्नभयं
धातराष्ट्रां स्वबान्धवान्
धृतराष्ट्रान्
स्वजनं हि कथं वा
स्वजनं हि कथं हत्वा
सुखिनं श्यामाधव
सुखिनः श्याम माधव
Sin will overcome us if we slay such aggressors. Therefore, it is not proper for us to kill the sons of Dhritarashtra and our friends. What should we gain, O Krishna, husband of goddess of fortune? And how could we be happy by killing our own kinsman?
Yeah. So according to Artha Shastra, Prabhupada is quoting Artha Shastra here. Vedic injunctions means that Artha Shastra, there are 6 kinds of aggressors. So first one is one who gives poison. So we see that Kauravas, they were all 6 types of aggression they had done towards Pandavas. So when they gave poison, poison to Bhima. Yes, Bhima was given poison by Duryodhan. Correct. Then second is one who sets fire to the house. So when it was
Lakshagraha.
yeah, Lakshagraha, Varna. So that is where that is where the house was set to fire. One who attacks with deadly weapons.
In a Virat Yuddha, I think.
Huh?
Virat Yuddha.
Virat Yuddha.
Yeah. You know, many times we can see now also they are ready to attack with deadly weapons, isn't it? Fourth one, to plunder riches.
Gambling.
Yeah, match. They plundered the riches. And there was a unfair. Shakuni was doing a lot of golmaal in that, correct? So unfair means they played gambling also, and in this they plundered the riches. Then one who occupies another's land. This is fifth one. One who occupies others' land.
Indraprasth.
Yeah. So actually, who was the rightful inheritance? The Yudhishthir Maharaj. Yudhishthir Maharaj was the rightful inheritance he was having because he was the eldest, and it was Pandu's kingdom. So naturally, actually, originally it was Pandu's kingdom, and Yudhishthir Maharaj was, by the way, amongst Kauravas and Pandavas the eldest. So he was supposed to be king. So it was all the land and kingdom was of Yudhishthir Maharaj, but Kauravas had unlawfully usurped it. So they were aggressors in that way. And sixth one who kidnaps one wife or molests one's wife. So Draupadi Vastraharan. So we see that all 6 kinds of aggressions they had been done towards Pandavas by Kauravas. So and Prabhupada says that such persons, if any of the aggressors, anybody is an aggressor in one of the ways also, they are fit to be killed. So Arjun, he was not an ordinary person. He was very saintly by character, and that's why even though these were aggressors, he wanted to deal with them in a saintly manner. So Prabhupada says, but such kind of saintliness is not meant for a Kshatriya. So certainly the king who is doing administration in the state, he should be saintly. At the same time, she should not be cowardly. He should not be a coward. He should be ready to punish. So, and Prabhupada is quoting the name of Lord Ramachandra. He was most saintly. But at the same time, when Ravana did aggression towards his wife Sita Devi, then immediately he was ready to fight a battle and kill the Ravana. So that is the best example. So now, so in this way, it is a duty of Kshatriya to punish the aggressors. And in fact, Prabhupada says that aggressors, if they are killed, there is no sin, actually speaking. If the aggressors are killed, yes, in general, if one kills, then there is a sin. But if the aggressors are killed, there is no sin. But here, Prabhupada says there are different types of aggressors. Hmm. Raman was another third personality. But here, the aggressors are one's own relatives, one's own friends, those people whom he grew with, who have given lot of love and affection to him. Such people are the aggressors now. So that's why here is a special case. So Arjun thought that yes, aggressors should be killed, but because these aggressors are my relatives, they should not be killed. He was feeling that they should not be killed. Hmm. They are supposed to be forgiven. Hmm. So this is the Dharma Shastra Arjun is quoting. So according to Artha Shastra, aggressor should be killed. But Dharma Shastra, what it says? That our relative should not be killed. Hmm. The relative should not be killed at any case. So Arjun is thinking that such injunctions for saintly persons are more important than any political emergency. Hmm. That's what is Arjun's calculation. So Arjun is weighing different types of dharmas. Hmm. One is Artha Shastra Dharma, another is Dharma Shastra Dharma. And is weighing that more important than political emergency is to forgive our relatives, to not become aggressive towards although they are aggressors, still not killing them. Hmm. So better forgive them because we are after all saintly. Hmm. And he's telling, anyways, if I have to kill all these aggressors, what I am going to get? I am going to get some bodily pleasures. So is it right to kill somebody for our bodily pleasures? Just because I want to enjoy some kingdom, is it right to take away the lives of such people? So we can clearly see how saintly is the thought process of Arjun. How he is such a saintly personality. Nowadays we see that people have no such conception. People are ready to kill so many innocent lives simply for having taste buds, simply for satisfying their taste buds. Just for a few minutes of pleasure for a tongue, people are ready to take away the life of innocent creatures. And not one, two, there are so many thousands of people who have become meat eaters nowadays, isn't it? But Arjun, because he was saintly, the saintly person can never think like this. Saintly person is always thinking that how, for my pleasure, I should not cause inconvenience and trouble to others. So just for so that I should enjoy the kingdom, I should not kill my enemies and take away their lives. Hmm. And anyways, he's thinking that all these pleasures derived, they are temporary only. It is not that I am going to rule the earth for rest of the eternity. So for temporary pleasures, why to acquire such sinful reaction and why to risk our life and eternal salvation, isn't it? So we see how Arjun is so thoughtful, isn't it? These are all thoughts of Arjun given by Srila Prabhupada in his commentaries. So how Arjun is thoughtful, and such thoughts are so necessary for a devotee. Hmm. Devotee never wants to give trouble to others for his own satisfaction. Also, he understands that by doing a sinful activity, I am risking my future life. I am risking my spiritual life. And that's why he doesn't want to commit any sinful activity just for some pleasures. Hmm. So now Prabhupada says that Arjun is addressing Krishna as Madhava, who is meaning of husband of goddess of fortune. So Arjun is telling Krishna that, hey, you are goddess, husband of goddess of fortune, but why you are bringing misfortune towards me? Why you are telling me to become unfortunate? Hmm? You should you should advise me in such a way that I'll become fortunate. But the advice or the kind of thing which is I'm going to do, it is simply going to bring misfortune to me. Hmm? So in this way, Arjun is giving various arguments, but the last line is very important. Prabhupada says, last line of purport, please see. Prabhupada says, Krishna never brings misfortune to anyone, to say nothing of his devotees. Very important line. So this line we should develop faith upon. Krishna never brings misfortune to anyone. Krishna is not the cause of bringing misfortune to anybody. Krishna is not the trouble giver. Hmm. Krishna is always well-wisher of everyone. And what to speak of devotee, he will never do any wrong to devotees. And he will never bring misfortune to devotees. So even if some unfortunate events which are going on in the life of devotee may apparently be present, apparently be seen, but that is not intention of Krishna to cause some kind of torture to devotees. The unfortunate events which happen in devotees' life are actually Krishna's way to purify them and lead them to ultimate fortune. Hmm. So Krishna is not here for giving torture to anybody. Krishna is always well-wishing friend of everyone. So this faith, if a devotee develops, he can practice devotional service with great determination. That Krishna is my best well-wisher. Hmm. Krishna is my best friend, and he will never do any misfortune to me. This faith, if devotee develops, he will really become fixed and he will render devotional service with great determination and affection towards Krishna. So it's important for us to develop that type of faith on the Lord. Okay, so mm, yeah, we have covered all the points. Mm. So please read the next verse, 37 to 38. Next devotee.
9 bro.
यद्यपि एते न पश्यन्ति
यद्यपि एते न पश्यन्ति
लोभोपहत चेतसः कुलक्षया कृतं दोषं
कुलक्षया कृतं दोषं
मित्रद्रोहे च पातकम्
मित्रद्रोहे च पातकम्
कथं न ज्ञेयम् अस्माभिः
कथं न जनेयम्
पापादस्मान् निवर्तितुम्
पापादस्मान् निवर्तितुम्
कुलक्षय कृतं दोषं
कुलक्षया कृतं दोषं
प्रपश्यभिर्जनार्दन Translation. O Janardhan, although these men, their hearts overtaken by greed, see no fault in killing one's family or quarreling with friends, why should we, who can see the crime in destroying a family, engage in these acts of sin?
Yeah, please read purport.
Purport. A Kshatriya is not supposed to refuse to battle or gamble when he is so invited by some rival party. Under such an obligation, Arjuna could not refuse to fight because he had been challenged by the party of Duryodhan. In this connection, Arjuna considered that the other party might be blind to the effects of such a challenge. Arjuna, however, could see the evil consequences and could not accept the challenge. Obligation is actually binding when the effect is good, but when the effect is otherwise, then no one can be bound. Considering all these pros and cons, Arjuna decided not to fight.
Yeah. So he's telling, hey, these people they are not able to see the consequences. Hmm. These people are not able to see the consequences of such fighting. How much there will be some harm. Hmm.